Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I want to do another reading wrap-up video, obviously. I have accumulated a fair share of novels since my last post, but I figured today I'd take a chunk of them more on the spookier side of things and review them because we are heading into spooky season right now, being it early October. So if you're not a regular horror reader and you're just looking for some recommendations for this month because you like to get in the mood, then this is definitely the video for you. If you are a regular horror reader, then you're going to want to stick around anyways because I do have some good picks here. So yeah, let's go. All right, I figured I'd start this one out with a bang because this novel, I think, by far is the best novel I've read this year, and I really want to recommend that as many people read this as possible because it just had everything going for it. Lost Man's Lane by Scott Carson, it's also a pen name of Michael Carita, and this novel was, like I said, it just had a lot going for it. It was the typical coming of age, small town horror, suburban horror type thing. I did leave a review on Goodreads where I compared it to Boy's Life by Robert McCammon, which you'll see over my shoulder there. And obviously Stephen King's It. It might not be on the same level as it, but it's pretty close. Let me tell you, I absolutely loved this novel. I could not put it down. So like I said, it is in the genre of suburban horror. So just to give you an idea, it really grips you off the start. So one of the first few chapters is our main character gets pulled over by the police. It's actually his first day with his license, and he gets pulled over by the police, and he just gets a routine traffic ticket. He didn't think he did anything wrong, but he had a pretty weird encounter with the cop giving him the ticket. So as things progress, and he did, I should mention that he did see a girl in the back of the policeman's cruiser that was sitting back there crying. So he just assumed that girl was getting arrested for something. Later he goes home and he sees that girl's picture on the news as she's missing. So he then gets thrown into this mystery because he reports that he's seen her, because if the reporters and the police were looking for any information on this girl because she's missing. So after he reports it and he tells about the cop and who she was with, the cop, Officer Maddox was his name, doesn't exist. Nobody knows who he is. He's not in any of the documentation of the police forces in the neighboring towns or anything like that. So it's a mystery right off the hop. And it takes us, through our main character who's, like I said, a teenage boy, just basically dealing with the trials and tribulations of growing up, as well as dealing with this mystery that he's been now entrenched in. And it is a ride, let me tell you. If you are into those two books that I mentioned, if you are into small town horror, which is my favorite subgenre, this definitely is the book for you. I really would like you to read it, and I'd like you to let me know your thoughts. So if you've read it, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought, because I'm definitely interested in opening up the dialogue on this one. All right, next up, I want to talk about Polybius by Colin Armstrong. So this is another one in the same vein, another small town horror, great fall vibes in this book. This one follows a group of young adults as well in the 1980s. It's definitely got that Stranger Things vibe to it. And our main character works at an arcade, and they get this new game in, Polybius, if that's the pronunciation, that seems to be doing some weird things to people. So this one gave me, if I'm going to use a Stephen King comparison, this one gave me a little bit of the Tommyknockers vibes. It has that whole, the town's being taken over, everybody's changing, everyone's being brainwashed, altering their minds type thing, except for a few that seem to be immune to it. And it follows our small town here as it descends into chaos. Another comparison, Needful Things. Think of the way Needful Things in that small town, everything spiraled out of control. Similar vibes in this book. but with that whole 80s video game subgenre, subtext underneath it. So this one's a fun ride for sure. If you're into a nostalgia hit like I usually am, this one's a good ride. You'll have fun with it. So next up, I want to talk about The Monster Variations by Daniel Kraus. This is the first Daniel Kraus novel that I've read. This is another coming of age story. It's a really short story, but it's an interesting one. It's another coming of age story of a group of young adults who are in the process of growing into men and dealing with the things that come with that. And in their small town, there seems to be this serial killer who is killing young boys, and his weapon of choice is a truck, a white, van truck type thing that he's, running people down on the streets with. So this one follows our group once again, same sort of vibes. You can tell I like that sort of thing, especially for this time of year, of these young adults who are trying to catch this killer and take it into their own hands to figure this out before the police or the adults do. This one's okay. I wouldn't say it's gonna blow you away. Like I said, it's pretty short, so there's not a whole lot of meat to it, but it's worth a read. Check this one out. Okay, switching things up a little bit. This is Richard Laymon's Savage. Now, I haven't talked about a Laymon novel in quite a while. It's been a while since I picked one up. So I read Savage, and this one is a lot different than most Laymon novels that I've read. Interesting concept here. It's about the Jack the Ripper killer in England, and our main character, a young boy, thwarts a murder by Jack the Ripper and ends up injuring him quite bad. And they go on a chase through the city of London one night, and it takes him onto a boat where Jack the Ripper finds him, and they end up taking this boat across the ocean into America. And that's just kind of the beginning of this adventure. This book has a lot of different sections to it where it was almost like changing up genres as it went. Like, we start in old England, then we get to the US, and we're in rural USA, and then we get into the Old West at one point. I think they're in Nevada or Arizona or somewhere in that part of the States. And at that point it turns into a Western. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting how it kept changing the genres. But in true Laymon fashion, it's got some gore to it, it's got some vulgarity to it, but not as bad as most of his novels. I thought it was actually pretty tame for a Laymon novel, but really cool concept with the whole characterization of Jack the Ripper himself. And this one was a fun ride. Next up is Lost Boy, Lost Girl by Peter Straub. This novel was very intriguing. This one grabbed me, and I read this one, I think, within 2 days. It's a pretty easy read, pretty short, and it was really good. If you like an eerie mystery, then this is the one for you. This one follows our main character, who is a grown man. Tim is his name, and he returns to his hometown because his sister has just committed suicide. But not only has his sister just committed suicide, his nephew, her son, has disappeared, vanished. So he returns to see what's going on, I guess you could say, because those are two big events back to back. So he comes back to his hometown to try and figure some things out and piece some things together. And what he uncovers is I want to say an ancient evil is a good way to put it without giving too much away. It's an ancient evil in this town, in this specific weird abandoned house that he decides to explore more into and unravel the mystery that it is. So I hope that gives you an idea. I was trying my best not to really spoil anything for this one, because you're going to want to go in pretty fresh and just enjoy it. So I recommend this Peter Straub novel. Love Peter Straub as an author. Trying to read everything he's written. So there's probably more Straub to come in my future videos. Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about today is called the Handyman Method. This was written by Nick Cutter, which is why I picked this one up, because I love Nick Cutter, and another author, Andrew F. Sullivan. I don't know who that is, but it looks like they co-wrote this one together. So this one falls under, I would say, the ancient evil category as well as suburban horror. From what I remember of this one, they live in an upstart suburban community. So think like when they're putting new phases to subdivisions, they're just building this new phase, and there's a group of families that are starting to move into the houses that have been built in the initial phase. This one has that whole, I want to say like, Amityville horror, Shining type vibes, where there's something about the place itself that is getting into the minds of one of our characters and making him kind of not act like himself. So that was, in a sense, what was going on in this one. If you're into that sort of trope, I would highly recommend checking this one out. This one has had some twists and turns. It'll keep you guessing, and a little bit of a twist ending at the end that was pretty nifty. So it's a short little read. If you like Nick Cutter, like I do, it's worth a check out. Not as good as some of his solo novels, but still worth a check out for sure. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you've come this far, once again, I always thank you for that. I hope you enjoy spooky season this year. I hope you can take some of my recommendations and, get some enjoyment out of them. There is some pretty good stuff in there. So once again, happy reading, and we'll talk to you guys soon.